Right.
Hi, Srini. You're
Hi,
live
Joel.
now, ready when
Yeah.
you are.
Good evening.
Good evening to you too. Good to see you. And have you been able to share your slides, Srini? As soon as you
Yeah.
share your slides,
I'm
we can
just.
start.
Is my screen visible to you?
Not yet, Srini. So, have you hit the share button? So you've gone
Yes.
from present, right?
Yeah.
From your StreamYard window, you came to present. You selected your deck.
Yes. It's visible
Yeah.
now.
You're here, and yes, here you go.
Excellent.
So now all you need to do is hit yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Kavita. Uh, thank you, Joel.
Over
So,
to you.
thanks. So, just to share with everyone, I had no knowledge of technical analysis before 2020 March. Okay, so if I, as somebody with no knowledge of technical analysis, can clear all the three levels of CMT in a span of 12 months, I'm sure every aspiring CMT student can do that as well. Okay. My only experience in terms of some knowledge of understanding, let's say the financial markets was that I used to watch India Business Hour on CNBC TV 18 just to gain an understanding of okay what's happening to different businesses. My primary interest at that time was the forex fluctuations in terms of okay, how the Indian rupee was varying versus the US dollar because the organizations that I used to work for were involved in a lot of import and export activity that used to affect my P&L significantly. So that's all I had before 2020. And the other incident that actually got me interested in anything to do with technical analysis was once I was actually reading Economic Times, which has been a habit for me for the last 25, 30 years. And in one of the articles, I just read that at that point of time, 1600 rupees used to act as a resistance for Reliance Industries and some 1520 rupees was a support. That actually got me curious. What does it really mean? What is support? What is resistance? So probably that's what is the first instance which got me interested in technical analysis in terms of okay how I started uh, preparing for CMT exam. While okay I took my level 1 exam in 2022 June, I actually started reading about technical analysis way back in probably March 2020. The way I started was I first started understanding about candlestick patterns. To tell you, I virtually read every book on candlesticks written by Steve Nason, which has been a very, very big help in getting a very, very good handle on the basics of uh, understanding price action, be it a single candlestick or be it a pattern of candlesticks, could be two or three candlesticks. Once I completed all those books, then I completed reading books by Scott Carney. There were about four books. The first book was The Harmonic Trader. Then there was Harmonic Trading Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. Once I read all these three, I uh, wanted to really explore more and learn more about technical analysis. The good fortune I have is that a good friend of mine happens to be a CMT charter holder. He actually asked me to read the Bible of Technical Analysis. That's the book by Edwards and McGee. Once I completed that, I actually got more and more interested in the subject. Trust me when I say this, it took me almost 3 months to get a good understanding of the content in the book by Edwards and Maggie. Once I completed that, then I enrolled for CMT level 1. I'll probably present in the subsequent slides in terms of how I prepared for level 1, level 2, and level 3. All that I would say is Do not restrict yourself just to reading the content in the prescribed book if you really want to do well in the CMT exam. That I would really treat it as only a bare minimum. That actually opens your window to get much deeper and deeper in terms of understanding technical analysis very well and practicing it well for two benefits. One, to do very well in CMT exams uh, as and when you take them. Number two, once you complete all these readings, that makes you a very, very disciplined, methodical trader and investor. That improves your understanding of financial markets. That helps you to clearly have a very, very thorough risk management and money management approach. That's what I would tell you. So now let me go ahead with sharing with in terms of how I really prepared. As I mentioned, prior to 3 years, I had no knowledge of technical analysis, and I really wanted to do well in those examinations. So the way I structured my preparation was on any given day after my working hours, I used to spend a minimum of 3 to 4 hours of studying. I don't call it reading because you actually need to study well for the examination. And I used to make copious notes over the weekends, be it on Saturdays and Sundays. I used to spend a minimum of 6 to 8 hours. One, to really refresh all the study that I did over Monday to Friday, and maybe supplement that with additional preparatory work. Then one yardstick that I had for myself was fine. If I had an exam 6 months away, I would actually complete my first reading in the first 2 months, and then I would do minimum two revisions. And 15 days prior to the examination, I used to actually refresh the entire content once again to be thorough in terms of not having any minute doubts as well. The other aspect which really helped me prepare well for the examination, I used to practice a lot on charts, be it trend lines, pattern recognition, volume behavior, indicator behavior, and what they really used to mean. Today, you have plenty of free softwares available, be it investing.com, be it stockcharts.com, be it TradingView. I would encourage every student to really practice or understand and interpret on real charts whatever you read in the books. That's second step that I would suggest everybody to follow. The third aspect I would encourage every participant, be it level 1, level 2, and level 3, is you are going to learn about many indicators. Could be price related, momentum related, could be volume, breadth, sentiment, or volatility. Plot all those indicators on your charts. First, go through the default settings and play with the settings. Okay, now let's say for an example, RSI says it's a 14 period indicator. Just see what happens when you change it to 12, when you change it to 18 or 20. There is a reason why it is set at 14, which work fairly well, but play with the settings, default settings for each of those indicators. That will really help you understand why a particular indicator is set with those default parameters. The third thing I would say is you have plenty of material available on Google. Rather, I would say you can even go to Google Scholar. And then plenty of knowledgeable content on the YouTube. Just to give an example, if you look at RRG, the relative rotation graph, there are many webinars done by Julius de Campenard, who is the creator of RRG. And similarly, you have many interesting websites. I would say spend a lot of time on them. Particularly stockcharts.com is one website which I used a lot for my level 3 preparation. Then you also attend webinars by domain experts. In addition to all this, some of the classics, which in fact I'm going to share in the subsequent slides, I would encourage every student to really go through those classics to supplement your preparation from the prescribed reading of the CMT Association. As we are speaking, I'm happy to share the book by J.M. Hurst, The Profit Magic of Stock Transaction Timing. I'm actually studying for the fourth time, and as I read this now, I actually gain additional insights. Moving to the next slide, the basics. I would ask every student or examination taker to really be very clear about why are you taking the CMT examination. If you want to treat it just as an examination, there is one way you are going to prepare for the exam. But I would say have a much larger objective. Maybe you are already a trader and an investor, or you are an aspiring trader or investor, or you could be seeking a career in the investment profession. What really CMT helps you is it's an ideal and structured platform to gain an in-depth and thorough knowledge of knowledge of the entire domain of technical analysis. Number two, okay, what is it that you achieve or gain at the end of taking the three examinations? One, you will have immense knowledge of the entire spectrum of technical analysis. You will have a lot of confidence when you want to make a trading or an investment decision. Your approach will be very, very disciplined and methodical, and you will have very, very grounded approach to risk management and money management. For me, I think these have been the biggest benefits of preparing for and clearing all the three levels of CMT examination. As I mentioned earlier, the best way to prepare, in my opinion, you need to go through the entire content minimum three times, because as you reach each time, your understanding becomes more refined. You will gain additional nuances in terms of getting a good handle on the concepts. Make copious notes. As I mentioned earlier, the prescribed reading for me is only a minimum. Read as much as you can. Spend a lot of qualitative time when you prepare for the examination. Number three, there are many books which are referred in the prescribed reading as well. I would suggest, if you find time, to go through some of these reference books, which are a big, big help if you really want to get a very, very thorough grasp on the content, and if you want to be very, very confident when you take the examination. Last but not the least, as I mentioned earlier, I had the benefit of a CMT guiding me, and I would encourage every aspirant also to reach out to people for help. If you can actually see on the Discord itself, there are many, many resources available uh, which are willing to help you to do well in the examination. Coming back to, okay, how to prepare for each level of examination. Level one, if you really see, okay, at least when I took those examinations, these were the domains and these were the weightages. uh, and again, I can say out of my own experience, many people, including myself, tend to take the ethics domain or section a little casually. I would say do not do that. There are questions related to ethics in each level of the examinations. I would say pay attention to that, because one, while the weightage may not be really much, they are very, very thought-provoking questions. I would say prepare well for that. Beyond that, for level one, trend analysis, chart and pattern analysis, and selection and decision. These three carry almost 45 to 50% weightage. Prepare very, very thoroughly for these sections, because they become the stepping stones to level two and level three as well. And to the right side, you can see there are many books which I mentioned on the right side. And I'm happy to tell you that I went through each of those books as I was preparing for level one examination. Moving to the next slide, which is about level two, you can see a couple of areas marked in yellow: trend analysis, chart and pattern analysis, selection and decision, system testing, and risk management. You can see that there is an overlap between level one and level two in trend analysis and chart and pattern analysis. Similarly, if you look at selection and decision, system testing, and risk management, these areas also carry a lot of weightage in your level three examination. For level two preparation, I would suggest some of the books that I mentioned on the right side. They have been a big help for me, and I have no reason to disbelieve that they will not help any other student to prepare well for the examination. Coming to level three, the areas marked in the green, that is the risk management section, asset relationships, portfolio management, behavioral finance, and volatility analysis. Pay a lot of attention to these aspects, because most of the questions in level 3 are in terms of application. Okay, so that's where I would say, apart from doing a thorough reading of the content, watch the financial markets globally very, very closely, particularly what is happening in the US market, European market, and Hong Kong and Japan when it comes to Asia. I think if we do this, uh, everybody should do well in CNT examinations, and please reach out for help. That's what I'm planning to share in terms of how to prepare for the examinations. I'm open to questions and any discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivasa, for the insightful session. Now we should all move on to our Discord voice channel, Room 1, within the premium access for our Q&A session. So thank you all for joining. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.